Speaking about going back, let's go back in time to last week in comics. Going to go back in time, and you've got a book that you really enjoyed and picked up because of a TV show. So hey, that works.
Yes.
So what's your pick for last week in comics?
Last week in comics, Peacemaker disturbing the peace. Now, Peacemaker has been popular TV show on HBO Max. I recently started watching it. Um, it's really good. It's really funny. It's one of those shows where you don't have to pay too much attention to it. I believe Rob and John have a whole bunch of reviews on the channel about it.
Yep.
Check those out. I enjoy the show. So I was really happy to see that you still had this book. I thought it would have definitely sold out because Peacemaker's the man of the hour right now.
Right now, yep.
This one by Ennis and Brown is actually very different than the Peacemaker we see in the show. This Peacemaker isn't funny; he's more serious.
Yep.
So in this issue, we see Peacemaker sitting down with a therapist. He's going over his origin story, and it's not a pretty origin story. He talks about how he's seen his parents not make it. He's an orphan. He talks about how his adopted parents, he became an orphan. He talks about how he was kidnapped by outlaws, and he kind of became their child slash friend. He's a very tragic character. I don't know anything about Peacemaker other than what I've learned from the show, and it's a complete opposite from the show to this issue. He seems very calculated. He seems very dangerous. So I think this issue it is a one shot, but I think it's leading up to him maybe joining the Suicide Squad as sort of like a Rick Flag, like a leader sort of thing, because he doesn't take crap from anybody. He talks about how he joined the army at a very young age, how he went through an infantryman to a ranger to a special operative, and it all ties together in the end. He goes around and does something behind everybody's back to his gain, and we don't know what it is till the very end. It all kind of comes together as he's telling the therapist this story of his life. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, she kind of light bulb goes off in her head, and she's like, "Wait a minute, did you?" So it's a really good issue if you like Peacemaker the show. It is completely different. It's by Garry Ennis. What's Greg Ennis?
Garth Ennis.
Garth Ennis. Sorry, Garth Ennis.
Yeah, this is the guy that brought us some really great Punisher stuff. So if you know his work, you know it's definitely going to be dark, a little bit gritty and violent. But
he's also the Boys guy, right?
Yeah,
he did the Boys. So I would compare it a lot to the Boys with the whole grittiness, with the gore, with the blood, with the way he presents
over the top violence. Yeah,
over the top violence. Yes, that's for sure. I cut all the images of the over top violence out, but yeah, it's a very good starting point for Peacemaker. If you enjoy the character, maybe check out this book and go from there.
Very, very cool. Very cool. So that's the kind of the neat thing about when you see these shows, as long as they are good enough to spark somebody's interest in picking up a comic, checking out the source material and stuff. And like I said, we've seen it at the shop with Moon Knight, and I'm glad you've checked this one out, Jesse, too. Yeah. In the Peacemaker, based on the show, because I hear, I haven't watched it. John Cena is killing it in the show. People are really liking him, and he was also in the Suicide Squad movie that was just done by James Gunn. So yeah, so even though it's a different iteration of the character, you might like it enough to check it out. As always, thank you for tuning in, and continue to check us out. Heroes World online. That is where you're going to find us. All kinds of content. And remember, please, if you can, like, subscribe, tell a friend, help us spread the word.